Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sleepy Jazz, and today I'm here with another Genshin theory with Mondstadt and how it's actually a big significance in the story of Genshin Impact. Anyway, let's get into the video. So basically, what I mean by Mondstadt being a big time significance to the story is basically, well, it's for like a multiple amount of reasons. Of course, we came to Mondstadt at first, at the very beginning. We came to Monstadt with questions, and we kind of just left Monstadt with even more questions rather than more answers. Not only does Mondstadt have a few missing characters here, but it also has a complete missing area, similar to Port Ormos. Hold on, I have to look and make sure that's what it's called, guys. I'm sorry. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Port Ormos. Yes, kind of similar to Port Ormos. Basically where overseas ships come in. Mondstadt doesn't have one of these areas. However, lots of the other areas do. Of course, for Liyue, you've got Inazuma over here. And of course, Fontaine, which of course, Fontaine is hydro, so it'd be understandable for them to have lots of ships and a port where ships come in. But Mondstadt is the only one that basically doesn't have any place where ships can come in and land. Or would I say park? Or anyway, you get what I mean. Monstadt doesn't have any type of docks or anything for any overseas ships. And of course, we do have characters, I'm pretty sure, such as Alice and what is his name? Like the leader of the Knights of Favonius. He's also away over at seas, and he is rumored to actually return. And we may get these characters toward the end of the story in Genshin Impact. Now, of course, those aren't really. Well, I mean, the information of having a new area in Mondstadt isn't really confirmed yet. But of course, there is rumors, and I think they're highly likely true, because it would also make sense for Mondstadt to have a place where ships can dock and whatever, you know, so that way they can get overseas trades and stuff. But yet, we don't have it yet. So I'm thinking that towards the end of the story, after we've visited the other nations, we're going to come back to Mondstadt. Now, let's talk about freedom in Mondstadt. Now, of course, Mondstadt is the city that basically represents freedom. You know, Venti or Barbados is actually the god of freedom. And if you really look through the Archon quest and the story quest and what we've been through with all of the nations, freedom isn't exactly something these nations really stand for or represent, but it's something each nation has really needed so far within the storyline. And this is like a thing that I've noticed. It's not exactly like complete, you know, freedom, like, oh, they've been being held captive by their archons, and unless we're talking about Inazuma. But, you know, it's not exactly freedom as you think, like, oh, like they've been held captive by their archon and they needed to be freed from their ruling or whatever. But some nations kind of needed freedom in their own way or their own version. For example, basically in Liyue, they needed the freedom to have like control over their own nation, and basically what Zhongli did was he basically quote unquote retired from being an Archon and left the Qixing. Did I say that right? Anyway, they left them, Ningguang and the others, to look after Liyue and protect Liyue, rather than them relying on him and the Adepti to help them. Also, if you remember in Sumeru, the Akasha terminals that we had to wear, they weren't exactly, you know, they didn't like control our minds and bodies, but they did have the potential to. And, you know, basically what the, what are they called, the Academia was trying to doing, you know, was create a new god because they didn't like the Lesser Lord, Kusalani, or whatever her name is. But yeah, because they didn't like Nahida, they wanted to create their own form of god. And, you know, some people, like, still wanted to believe in the other god, and, you know, keep the traditions and stuff, like Nailu's dance and stuff. But, like, the Academia didn't want them to do that. They wanted them to follow their god and what they wanted for the nation. And basically their nation needed the freedom to have their own beliefs and their own practices. And yeah. Now, of course, you might be thinking that I'm thinking too deep in it. You know, I might be. But also, I think Inazuma was just a big hint as to each nation really needing freedom. Because if you think about it, Inazuma was one of those nations that was just like held captive by their Archon. Their Archon just had an extreme fear of whatever, I don't know. She wanted to take their visions. She wanted to have full control. They couldn't go out of Inazuma. No one could come in Inazuma. They were just kind of being held hostage by their own Archon. But, you know, she kind of did it all out of some extreme fear. I'm assuming it was an extreme fear of Celestia after the war, where all those, like, Conria monsters were coming in, and when she lost her sister, yada yada. But anyway, that, like, the nation Inazuma and what happened there just kind of, like, really gave that off, that, like, each nation needed some sort of, like, freedom or some sort. But anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about in Mondstadt is this statue. Now, of course, we all know around the statue, this says the gateway to Celestia, and it has hands that you can stand on. So let's go up here, stand on the hands, and see where it kind of points to. See, now from where I'm standing, if I angle the camera, let's see. It almost seems like it's going toward the tree, which if it is, that is actually, I think that tree was grown after the Dandelion Knight had died, if I remember correctly. She died and she ascended, and I think she like ascended right there or something, if I remember correctly. And that's when that tree grew there. So I'm wondering if maybe that it means like gateway to Celestia, as in like that's where she went to Celestia or something. I don't know. But this statue has been kind of like freaking everybody out for a while. But if we pull up the map and we kind of see where our... Where's my... Hello? What are we doing? I can't see my... I can't see the thing. Okay, I have my mouse now. But anyway, as I was saying, if we kind of just take where it's pointing at, we're going to go down here. See, we're going to kind of like align with the tree. I'm trying to do this super carefully. We're going to kind of go down here almost. It almost seems like it's kind of pointing at Musgrave, which is where the Spiral Abyss also is. Now, I don't know much about the Spiral Abyss, if I'm being honest. I just know that I can get Primogems from that, and I like it. So, I mean, you know, I don't know if it has any lore significance or whatever, but I do know the big tree at Windrise does. Windrise. Anyway, now, of course, this was just a short little theory video. I don't really think I have much else to add on to this. But one thing I can conclude is that we are definitely missing a lot of lore from Monstadt. But if you guys want to correct me on anything, or if you want to add on to this theory in the comment section, please do. I greatly appreciate seeing all of your comments on this and stuff. But remember, be nice in the comments. Don't be mean. No one likes mean people. But yeah, comment your own theories about Mondstadt. Add on to this theory. You know, be nice in the comments. Don't judge anybody else. Be nice people. But that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing this theory. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.